for what he said. Yeah. But he also denied what he thought he said was, he changed his mind a couple times, but he said, if I were in charge, I would, right, do X. And I repeated that, and then he contested if I were in charge part. We nailed him on that, but then he claimed that he didn't say would, that he doesn't say would, could, or whatever.
Oh my God.
But he did say would.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I was going to go back and find the part where he said it was a contradiction, but then I just realized, you know, it's like a lot of time and work.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And then you play it for him, and he's just like, well, that's not what I meant, or like, I never said I didn't say that, or some other
He definitely said he didn't say it.
Yeah.
You
have to go to the immense trouble of like having one clip of him saying the thing, and then another clip of him saying, I never said the thing. You know, I don't know. It seemed like
if we're talking about John, keep in mind, with my argument I had with him about what Matt Dillahunty said, he kept equivocating between what he uttered
and what he meant.
Yeah, he said, what I said, he means both. Depending on the context, he either means he uttered or he meant.
Yeah, it's just like too much work. Because if the person would then be like, you know what, you're right, I fucked up, I'm going to do better, that's one thing. That's never going to happen.
Can I actually test it with you guys? Because I don't know how to play something on my phone and have you guys be able to hear it. Can I try it and see if it works?
Yeah.
Okay, just a second. Okay, I had to get away from the kids because they're yelling. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can play it here.
Hello, who's watching? I'm listening to Clubhouse at the moment, and the title of the room is Atheists Are Rational. So their grammar's a mess. It's Atheists Are Rational. Obviously they're not, but I mean the grammar's garbage. Heidi Braun has just invited me to join as a speaker. No, thank you. Maybe later. TTFN, ta-ta for now.
We can't hear anything.
Oh.
Okay, I will try to figure that out for later.
Well, can't you do you have another device? I thought people just played it on the other device and held their phone up or something like that.
Not. Oh, by the way, Jamie made a comment on my channel. It's up to him, you know, I don't mind. I like Jamie as a person. Really nice guy to talk to, you know. Hate his FDAism, LNG white garbage. He was in the Cinecogs channel. I like the Cinecog, nice enough guy. I've had reasonable conversation with him. I haven't been there for months in his studio. I have spoken to him. Obviously not face to face. So Jamie was in there. Obviously Cinecog was in there. CJ. What was the title of the YouTube? What was it? Let's just go. Let me just check the history thingy. My notifications, because I am subscribed. I'm just curious to know what's going on over there? Not because I want to spy or I'm looking for something to find fault with. Just curious, to know what. Oh, what happened there? Dave's Storm Chaser videos deleted. I watched Pine Creek with Rob Reed. That was so unexciting. I mean, you know, when you're talking to a guy like Pine Creek, no offence to you, Rob, but don't go in there naively thinking that the guy's stupid or lacks knowledge or whatever. I don't think he's a genius, but he very definitely is not a stupid man. I've listened to quite a few of his streams, and the way he dealt with Darth Dawkins was a little bit, I won't say brutal, but interesting. But I do think Rob, he succeeded in doing whatever it was he was trying to do. I think it's, in a way, right, I'm not in agreement with Pine Creek, because Pine Creek is an atheist. Couldn't care less what Praise I Am's opinion of him is. It's completely meaningless to me. Not looking down on your Praise, just saying. But I do find it interesting when an atheist sort of puts a Christian's feet to the fire. And he did with you, Rob Reed. So, and let me tell you, I'm not gloating, I really aren't. I don't think I've ever liked you, Rob. Really. I don't hate you or despise you. Oh, where's that? What's the name of that last video that Pine Creek did now with Rob Reed? I'll find it in a minute. Oh, Ace Theo. I mean, this guy's a nutter, Ace Theo. One of his videos is called Don't Tell No One, but, in hyphenated speech marks, Christians, close speech marks, are enemies of the cross. Christians, I mean, what does he mean by enemies of the cross? Do Christians, think about this, I mean, do Christians hate what Jesus Christ completed on the cross? His death, burial, resurrection, glorification, ascendance to the Father, seated at the right hand of the power. Do Christians really despise that? No. So what's Ace Theo on about? I don't know, it just sounds weird. I mean, I'm not even interested in trying to work it out, really. The guy's nuts. And if you do find out what he means, please do me a favour. Don't come and tell me. Thank you. Alright, where's this video that Pine Creek did with lawyer Rob Reed? Where is it? Why did Praise Stream get community guidelines strike? Where's Pine Creek's video? Oh, I can't be bothered. Oh, give over. I mean, Rob Reed's not even important enough to spend more than 2 minutes looking for something. If you know what I mean. No offence, but I mean, you know, I'm not chasing, you know, people. Oh yeah, Pine Creek. Atheist puts Christian attorney on the stand. Yeah. I don't want to go through that video. Why would I? Really? Really? Why? In fact, I think I might stop subscribing to YouTube channels so that it means I don't get any notifications and that I'm not aware of what other people are doing, particularly apart from very specific channels that are actually useful, edifying. That doesn't include you, Praise, and a couple of other channels, amazingly. Why would Heidi invite me?
Go there as an atheist who's more on the conservative side and might not be as into recognizing pronouns and other things, and that community will remove you from it. You won't be welcome just because you're
I'm
an atheist,
never going to
because
recognise
they've
what
set up a structure
they now
tied to their
characterise
atheism that is unavoidable.
as a pronoun.
How is recognizing pronouns tied to atheism? What's that got to do
There's
with
this
atheism?
crazy on the internet, in the
Well,
like
I
the
would
internet
say
atheists, some of those internet atheist communities and like shows like the
it's a
atheist
way
experience
of
and stuff. They
forcing
have this like
Christians-
crazy liberal radical feminism where like they're going around
I'll give over the
accusing.
radical feminism stuff. What a lot of poo. Forcing people against their conscience and their, I don't like to use the word religious, forcing Christians against their conscience to acknowledge, admit to things that are just abominations. Like, if they could have a policeman on every corner doing this, I'm sure the government would do it. You know, if a guy, and it's obvious that they're a guy and they're a transvestite and they're dressed up in all the female clothing, I've got to recognise that person as a female by addressing them in the correct pronoun. No, I'm not going to do it. If it's perfectly clear and obvious that it's a bloke, and nearly every time, 99.9% of the time, it's obvious it's a male dressed up in women's clothing, I'm not going to address them in the feminine. I won't do it. I won't speak. I won't be forced to address anybody in a way that is just not... I mean, it goes against common sense. And I'm not going to have somebody tell me how to address someone. I will address them politely. But I'm not going to refer to a male in the feminine. I'm not going to refer to a woman in the masculine. I'm not going to do it. It won't happen. And, you know, that is why they want... That's why they're trying to force this pronoun thing. I mean, when I apply for a job, what do you identify as? And there's a list of about 5 or 6. Male, female, this, that and the other. Oh, I mean, you know. People make me want to throw up, if you want to know. And you can quote me on that. I don't care if you like it or not. Like I'm sat here worried about what you think. I'm not. I might be annoyed about it and I'll make a reference to it. I'm not sat here worrying. And sometimes it may make me angry now and again, you know. Who cares? Your feelings tell you nothing about God, I know that much. Cheryl, the feminazi on Standing for Truth channel, blocked me because she thought I wasn't doing what she thought I was supposed to be doing or what she decided I was supposed to be doing. She didn't say anything to anybody else about it. The side chat is for asking questions. All I was doing was communicating with Redefine Living, Sam and Donnie, you know, Standing for Truth. I've been in the studio before, we're quite friendly. I won't say we were close friends, we're not. Right? I'm not going to have a woman tell me how to communicate and who to talk to and how to communicate. I'm not going to put up with it. I am not putting up with it. And if you don't like it, get away. Go somewhere else. See if I'm bothered. Cheryl is blocked. Linda Edmondson is blocked. Permanently. I mean, I've said that before and I changed my mind, you know. And there's a few others blocked on there. So, yeah, I might love you as a brother or sister in Christ, but you have no entailments upon me. And it's not pride. You're just not telling me what to do. It's not happening. None of you can. And if you know me, you know perfectly well. In fact, none of you know me, do you? But if you did, you'd know you were never ordering me about, ever. And there's nothing you can threaten me with. I mean, look at how quickly people turn on you when you disagree with them. Oh dear. Look what happened with Praise and Sam. Not surprised at it. I'm not blaming anybody, I'm just saying, you know. You cannot trust anybody on the internet as a friend unless you've met them face to face, personally, you've had fellowship with them, spent time, you know, praying, reading, you know. Outside of that, no. I've got Christian brothers who I do trust, but they're not on YouTube, and let me tell you, I will never introduce you to them or them to you, because I don't want you infecting them with your poison. You would make me look like garbage if I did that. Right? And if you think I don't know what people are like, don't kid yourself. I met all the worst. Not that I'm an expert on anything. I mean, I'm just a nobody anyway, so I don't care. Just carry on with your snobbery and your snotting people off all the time. Ridiculing people over nothing, really. Making silly memes. Superimposing pictures of poop on people's faces, making them look fatter, making them look like perverts. So don't come to me with it. some of you do act like bastards, you know that, don't you? Sorry, but I mean, it is a biblical word anyway, so I'm not going to apologise, actually. Yeah, Jamie Russell. Oh, yeah, I didn't get to that point. Jamie Russell was in Cinecog's channel going on about genocide, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yes, the Germans, this. Oh, you know, and all this sort of stuff, and morality, and yeah, I mean, it's fine, it's fair enough, it's a discussion, it can get deep, it can get heated, but a lot of facts can get ignored, can't they? Curious, really, isn't it? If you think about it, which is unlikely for you Americans a lot of the time. Americans will go on about all the genocides except their own. I mean, America at the moment is big on genocide. It has been for nearly 200 years. Genocide of the American Indians, the First Nation people. Then there's the Spanish flu, which I believe actually was caused on purpose. Because they sent some American soldiers over there that were infected with, well, what they call the Spanish flu now. Right. Then there's I think there was a genocide on the southern states. I think they killed a lot of people down there. Killed a lot of people in Canada. The abortions over in the USA now, they've killed 53 million babies. Then there's the genocide in Afghanistan, where 500,000 women and children, I believe, were starved to death. You know, because of the embargoes. Oh, and then to go back a little bit again, World War II, and yes, the British were involved. The bombing of Dresden. And then you've got the Rhine Meadows, where returning German soldiers were starved to death in concentration camps by the Americans. And then there's all sorts of other stuff that's happened in Germany at the end of the war that we probably don't know about. So, Jamie, don't get clever with me about your morality, boy. SDA. Heretic. I don't despise you, Jamie. I do actually like you quite a lot. I find you interesting, amusing, but I don't take doctrine from you. I never will. But don't start getting cleverer. With you two Americans, I don't despise either of you. I like Cinecog, you know. But I'm going to say, and I would say it to his face, right to his face, if he was in me flat. I don't start getting all clever about your genocide and morality and all that stuff, which is all well and good in the right sort of... I mean, my morality isn't perfect, but the hypocrisy of you Americans, and I don't mean just Jamie and Cinecog particularly, in general, is just totally staggering. And if you're watching there, make a comment, because it would be interesting to know who you are. There isn't a country in Europe that hasn't committed some form of genocide. So looking down on the Germans and whatever, yeah, right. The Americans, you ignore Stalin, a Catholic, Jesuit trained, Who funded Stalin? The Americans did, the American bankers. Who funded Marx? Well, I think London did partly. Who funded Hitler? Prescott Bush. Oh. He nearly got prosecuted. So Jamie, don't come to my channel. Spit on your morality. Right? No offence, I like you, but I spit on what you think is your morality. I didn't listen to all your babbling. I don't go to Cinecog's channel as a rule. I am subscribed. I listen sometimes, very rarely. It must be nearly 4 or 5 months since I've been over there. I don't go to Graham Gould's channel either, or Kevin's Bible discussions. If that's you, Steve, come on in. I'll put a link in. Anyway, yeah, what else? I've got a video anyway. Jamie commented on it. Oh, do you say any more on it? That's his sort of attitude. That's how it comes across. I mean, I've read it into the wording that is used there, and I can sort of tell, you know, who are you to comment on morality? You know, I wish it was normal and decent Christian practice to swear, because I could spend at least half an hour swearing at Jamie. I've got a few choice words for a few others as well. Those two dumb women in Praise I Am's channel. I don't hate them, you know, I keep saying that. I don't hate anybody, I can't be bothered. It's hard work. You know, when you hate someone, it is hard work, sort of. It is a burden, a pain in the neck. It befuddles your fellowship with God. It makes a mess of your prayer life, sort of. Realised that years ago. I mean, I'm not saying that people don't make me angry, they do. But you've got to forgive straight away. And really, I do know how difficult that is. You don't know anything about other people, mostly, do you? Anyway. Just don't bring your contaminated rubbish to my channel. Not that my channel is pure and holy. Don't start getting clever about I once was a pastor, or I'm about to be a pastor, or I have a ministry. It's not going to impress me, because I'm not convinced. I'm not going to be convinced on YouTube of it. And I don't need that any man should teach me. And no, please, don't start going on about, oh, you're nuda scriptura. Well, no, I'm not. I do listen to what other people have to say. It's just that they don't realise I'm listening to what they have to say. I'll find out stuff for myself, but not from you. I don't go to any channels for doctrine, as such. Got a Bible. But if I want to find out something, I'll go to Scripture. Yeah. Anyway, I'm tempted on my channel to block all the comments, but I can't. I've got about 300 videos on my channel, And for some reason in my studio I can't click on all of them at once and just stop all the comments on all of them. It's a pity on YouTube that you can't just stop all comments after like 2 weeks or so, and then they just automatically turn off. Yeah, I'm hoping Cheryl comes to me side chat one day so I can block her properly. I might even go to a silly channel, but I can't be bothered. Now let's see what's going on in here. Oh, Hades gone. Atheists are rational. You're missing an S there. The grammar is absolutely horrendous. Oh, they've opened another room.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Are you
I'm sorry.
saying
Go ahead.
that? Are you saying that they directly like reached out to
Oh,
individual
there's
pastors and said and tried to persuade them to lose their faith? Is that what you think the Clergy Project is?
I think the pastors went to the Clergy Project, which for the most part was a private setup. When it initially started, was a private setup to get pastors to come on board and hopefully speak on their platforms, and many did. Jerry, and many did.
Are you saying who founded the Clergy Project? Who are the founders?
Richard Dawkins funded it.
I asked you who founded it, sir, not who funded it.
All right, who founded it? Well, I can't think of the ex-pastor who initially got the...
Dennett was an ex-pastor.
Go out and check.
No, Daniel Dennett wasn't an ex-pastor.
Dan Backer. Go and check him out. And he would tell you exactly how many people that are preachers. He was himself a preacher for 16 years. So for you to make this claim that Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens, and recruited all this
that's ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous.
It's not. It's really not.
Please.
I'm going on to my iPad now,
it, but somebody's going
you
get
tell
some
us
links.
who founded it.
Yeah.
But that's just intellectually dishonest. I mean, look, let's just say this was true. And I don't, I'm a little, let's grant it. The fact that people had conferences, people pay for conference speakers for all sorts of things, right? Like, the fact that I pay a conference speaker to share on a topic doesn't make me a religion. I mean, I think that's, these are kind of things, I just think this is a very spurious claim. It's not very honest, and most people I know that are atheists would self-describe as not religious. I mean, so...
Thank you, Scotty.
I think
it's just dishonest. I mean, like, it's not... I just honor the fact that, like, Rascal's my buddy, I'm not going to tell him he's religious. He says he's not religious, so he's not religious.
And to like parrot a little bit on what Ringo was saying, I do find it odd that, like, people who are religious want to saddle atheists or atheism with being a religion as well.
I want to read this. Because the name of this room is Atheism is a Religion, Change My Mind. It's on Clubhouse. Right, Cosfinger Beats says, religion is defined as a belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power. Well, I don't know about the superhuman bit. I mean, that's, atheism is a lack of belief in God, therefore atheism is not a religion. I would definitely disagree with that. I think atheists think they're better than God. They know things that God doesn't know, because God doesn't know that he doesn't exist. He knows he does exist, of course he does. But atheists almost believe that they are God, because they seem to be judging God. Why would he characterize God, brackets, a God, as superhuman? God isn't... I mean, Jesus Christ is God manifested in the flesh, fully man, fully God. But superhuman, I mean, that sounds like something out of a comic. Somebody's going to pick fault with what I said there. I think if you're charitable with me, I think I might have slightly misspoken, but...
Being less rational as a theme.
Stuff you, anyway.
That is being played.
Yeah, that's the whole point of presuppositional apologetics, right? Saying, oh, atheists can't empirically justify empiricism. Well, yeah, we know that.
Well, apparently James is just using this as a rhetorical device. I'm not even sure this is his position. Is that true, James?
Yeah, I don't know how long you've been following the conversation, but
I just got here.
But everything about this within this particular discussion is just defining and how we use terminology. And so atheism in its base form, a lack of belief and asserting that God doesn't exist, is not a religion in the same way that somebody who just believes Jesus Christ is God isn't automatically religious or believes that a God exists. It's just trying to get people to show that once they start applying dogma, then dogma has internal consequences. And so you can end up, for example, there are religions that have no God, and that's been established throughout history, like Buddhism, for example.
So you're saying you're not actually saying atheism is a religion then? Hey, Ringo! Oh. Saying that you're actually not saying that atheism is a religion. It's more just as a sort of opening salvo, let's have a conversation about it kind of.
Yeah, because if you put a room title that says, come let's have a big hug fest.
Yeah, I get it.
People don't come, so you need a room that catches. And so
I understand.
Yeah, and so there is, like, for example, other things that we talked about, like the Supreme Court defining atheism as a religion.
It's the religion
why they did
not
that,
God.
what were some of the implications. We discussed those things
Why
earlier.
go light on it? James is tired. I don't understand.
Well, if the Supreme Court's defining atheism as a religion, then shouldn't
the
atheists...
American Supreme Court says, because they're basically... SCOTUS is basically Catholic. Nothing of any real interest on here tonight, actually. Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning must be a really boring day of the week. I mean, this is a room here. Oh no, that's finished. No, there's no interest in.
Is like a local church.
We are not organized, so I do not know what you are talking about. You are not organized as a church or something. We are not, sir.
Yeah, but some atheists are organized. That's the whole point, not all.
Yeah, we're not saying all atheists. I'm not saying that that you, Haiti, and everyone who's an atheist on this stage agrees on everything. But there are groups who organize under the lack of belief and disbelief that God exists, who set certain structures and framework in motion as a way to guide their community. And in doing so, depending on how they do that, they can achieve, it's like 501c, I think, or something to that equivalent.
501c3, if that's what you want to call it, but I can object to that because I know it.
Not as an individual, you can't, but if you have a group that's a non-profit organization, you could. I agree there.
I just Googled it and I couldn't find.
Well, if it's getting
one way or the other.
501c3,
I would be really surprised if like an atheist organization gets a religious exemption, but I mean it could be true. I just be really
they wouldn't get a
surprised.
religious
No, we don't.
exemption.
No, we don't.
James
We
is
don't.
saying,
We don't.
James
We
is
don't.
saying
We
they
don't.
do.
Ringo,
Okay, great.
Ringo.
I mean, what does atheism mean? The word, it's a compound of 3 words. Sort of. Ism is the doctrine of, theism, God, and the bit at the beginning of the word atheism is the negation of the following 2 words. So it's the negation of the doctrine of God. And atheism is a doctrine in itself. So it's a teaching, isn't it? I mean, what do you think Pine Creek teaches, really, when he does his streams, when he tries to make a Christian look stupid, quite successfully? Rob Reed.
And, like, they let him have chaplaincy status because of the way they crafted the language of the atheist group. So funding and resources from the office of, religious whatever, from the thing at the state university. So you probably could. I mean, but it wouldn't. You'd have to do some machinations. I mean, it wouldn't. I'm sure you could work it that way.
And the basis, what groups like the ACA do is they will do certain projects like building ramps for people who have been in accidents, or in the case of making, knitting hats for the homeless. So they are able to do those things under a tax exempt. And in the same way, they can also purchase atheist literature and other things, and they can use that money to pass those things out as well.
Yeah, they've been taxing it for a long time, actually. So I would agree with you there, James.
Yeah, and the religious protection that atheist groups get on the same thing is the Supreme Court put them under the definition of religion so that they had the same rights and privileges as a standard church. So when Ringo is saying, he's just confusing what I'm saying, and I think he's trying to say that I'm saying all atheists get a tax exemption, and that's not what I'm claiming.
Well, it says the American atheist gets a 501.
Yes, because we are never organized, and we don't have.
Ringo, there are atheist organizations.
Maybe why do you have to interrupt me?
Because I was talking when you started talking, actually.
Even now.
And Ringo, I'm so sorry, but you've had not just me, the Christian, on stage, or Scott. You've had Rascal, you've had Haiti, who just looked it up online, confirming this tax exempt thing that atheist groups in some circumstances.
I got a comment an hour ago from Jamie Russell because I tagged him in a video, a screencast, what's it called? The Synagogue at Jamie Russell, USA, World War II, moral relativism, much. That was my opinion, it still is. So Jamie says, how is anything we said moral relativism? You don't even believe God's law is still active. Well, that's a lie, Jamie. You little snot. What do you think you are? Just because, I don't know why, but Jamie Russell obviously he went into Praise's channel and got a drubbing, and he still goes back in, and then he goes into Synagogue's channel, starts prattling, virtue signaling, I dare say, about morality, genocide, all that sort of thing. And I thought it was hypocritical. It sounded like moral relativism. morality relative to the person, you know, what's the precise definition? Moral relativism is the view that moral judgments are true or false only relative to some particular standpoint. And that of a culture or a historical period, and that no standpoint is uniquely privileged over all others. But these were two Americans yakking about the genocide of other countries whilst ignoring their own. And I thought that was a bit relativistic, relative to the observer. Yeah, maybe I might well have got me definition wrong. I don't know. Possibly. Check the video and have a look. Have I got the title right or wrong? Or... But I still think that what they were saying basically was hypocritical. Like butter wouldn't melt in the mouth of America. America, the last bastion of Christianity, which of course is absolute tosh. America is Catholic, basically. It is now. Not so sure that America has ever been sort of full-on Christian. There was a period of time where Roman Catholics were banned. The Jesuits were banned from quite a lot of states in America. That went pear-shaped very quickly, really, within 30 or 40 years. Because of the potato famine in Ireland, a lot of Roman Catholics landed over there. Which is fair enough. But who caused the potato famine? Well, the Jesuits did with their black ships. They cargoed, exported all the, not just potatoes, the foodstuffs out of Ireland. They ended up with a famine over there. I'm not sure of the precise mechanics of it. But the Catholic so-called church obviously wanted to bombard America with Roman Catholics, and they did do. You've got states like Maryland. Well, you know, there's a clue. There's a clue for you. Anyway, I'm not sure I want to listen to much more of these atheists yakking on. James is tired.
Okay. And I can mingle with them. I'm so lost in what the hell you say.
James, this guy.
So Ringo,
Atheists